Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning chat. I'm Karen Whooley, your host. So excited to be here this Monday morning. It's kind of a crazy Monday morning, too. It's overcast, so I apologize for the lighting for this video, but hopefully it'll brighten up in a little bit here and things will get a little brighter. I go live every morning, Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. Pacific time. So I guess that's 10:30 Eastern if you're in the East Coast, and you can want to check anywhere else you live. And if you are brand new and you've never seen my videos before, make sure you like and subscribe and also ring the bell so you're notified when I go live. I do this every Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. and I just saw Carlene pop in. Good morning, Carlene. Good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. I am today going to be talking about something that a lot of people talk about. It's the project that's in the project bag that you started and it just kind of sits because of many different reasons. And just because I'm a designer doesn't mean that doesn't happen to me. A lot of people think, oh, you're one of those people who starts a project, finishes a project, gets it out into the world, or starts wearing it if you're making it for yourself, or gifts it, or whatever in that respect. And that's not true at all. At all. You can see the blue chair back here. You probably in previous videos have seen this project bag sitting in that chair. This is my guild is Desert Fiber Arts. And this is a tote bag and from them. And I started this project, maybe 18 months ago. And I started it with this yarn. This is Jody Long's Alba. It's a DK weight yarn. It is, let me see if I can find all the specs on this. It's 50% wool, 25% alpaca, and 25% viscose. And it's this beautiful tweed color. I fell in love with this. They sent me a sample of it and I swatched it and I knew that this needed to be a sweater for me. Now, in the process of making this sweater for me, I decided that I was going to make it as also a sample for a class that I teach. I teach a class called Top Down Sweaters to Crochet. If you have my book, Top Down Sweaters to Crochet from Annie's Attic from probably 15, 20 years ago. It's based on that book, but that book is based on the class. And I've been wanting to update that class to do a better job teaching about cardigans. And I started the sweater. Let me see if I can get it right side up because it's still attached to a ball of yarn here. So hang on. Let me pull this out. Okay, there we go. So this is just a basic double crochet cardigan. As you can see, there's no sleeve on this side, and there's a partial sleeve on this side. And actually, this is a restart of the sleeve, and it's still not right. The reason this has been sitting so long, I literally got the whole body done in less than a week, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And it was the sleeves. I have ripped the sleeve out probably 3-4 times and finally put it in timeout because it just cannot get the grade right here where I want it to tighten up to be, tight enough at my wrist. So this, like I said, this has probably been sitting for about 18 months. But it's really cute. It's just it's a hip length cardigan. It's all double crochets done in I cannot think of the sleeve name now. It's just like totally left me. But anyway, I did it. I was readjusting it because the way I teach cardigans in the class is a little bit different than I teach it now. And in my handout needs to be adjusted. So that's why I started this. haven't taught the class since. But I love how this yarn works for the sweater. So it's funny because as I was thinking of a topic for today, the sweater came to mind. And now I'm thinking that I really need to get back to this. I have a couple projects ahead that are already started that I need to get finished for the events that I'm teaching at this summer. But once those are done, I can get back to this. And I think I might do that. So I just wanted to share that with you. And then there's a lot of reasons why a project will sit in the bag. This is the one that's been sitting the longest. I do have a couple pairs of knitted socks that are in a bag that I only work on when I'm doing certain types of things like car driving. As I'm losing my voice. Sorry, guys. Let me get some coffee here. Okay, sorry. Um, so when I'm in the car and I've got a long distance to go and I'm not the driver, obviously, I have a pair of socks that I knit. I also have a pair of socks that I knit when I am at baseball games, and that sits until the next baseball game. So that's just so I keep my hands busy. I am somebody who needs to always have their hands busy. I have a blanket started downstairs. You guys will get to see that on Wednesday for Whip Wednesday. I showed you the yarn last week from Twisted Ambitions Yarns, and I finally started it. So hopefully you'll get to see that on Wednesday. But there's other reasons. I mean, sometimes you're working on somebody's pattern, and it could be mine, it could be somebody else's, and the instructions are just frustrating you. I try my best to make my instructions clear, and I tell everyone that you have a problem, you can come to me, and I am glad to help. Um, so if it's one of my patterns, make sure you email me and ask me questions because I'm glad to answer those. But let's say it's somebody you can't get a hold of, or it's an old pattern that the company, if it's like, a company that's no longer in business or whatever, and you just have nowhere to go, you don't have a local yarn shop you can pop into, those kind of projects end up staying in your project bag until you either A, rip them out or frog them, or B, your skills have sharpened more and you can go back to it and figure out how to make it work, even though it may not be exactly like the pattern. I mean, I've seen that a bajillion times where someone is a beginning crocheter, they start something, it's frustrating, they put it aside for a couple of years, maybe even 5, and then come back to it later and realize that now they have the skills to reassess the pattern, and if it's not written correctly, they can figure it out, or they can just modify it to make it work. So those of you who are here watching, do you have any reasons why you have project bags? I know you have them out there. The project bags with a project that you haven't touched in maybe 2 months, 3 months, 2 years, 10 years. I'd love to hear how you guys are dealing with that. For me, it's funny when I deal with a project that I'm not working with right now. It's always like hitting me in the back of the head. Like I have it on that chair on purpose, because if I use the chair, I have to move it and then I have to put it back on there. So it always reminds me that, yeah, I have this project. I did have a couple projects I have a walk-in closet over here, and I put them in there and then I forget about them. And, years later I find it. So I don't want to do that anymore. So anything that is pressing, like the sweater, even though it's been sitting there for 18 months, I know it's there and it's going to tap me on the head every once in a while. Okay. Carlene says, armholes and sleeves are hard for me. I think it would be easier if I had better garment sewing experience to visualize the shaping. That is a very common issue, Carlene. I know a lot of people who say the same thing. I'm very lucky because my mom was a seamstress. So was my nonna, who taught me to crochet, and my aunt as well. And my cousin, actually, she owns a sewing workroom where she makes draperies for people. So we all learned to sew in some shape or form. I learned to sew clothes for myself when I was young. Don't do it very often anymore, but I did learn that. But sleeves are interesting because it depends on what type of sleeve, what your arm circumference is, all of that. It basically, a sleeve like this is a circle. It's going to be a tube that just is worked in the round going down my arm. And it has to gradually decrease from the shoulder opening um, to your wrist. So, that kind of thing it's something that's you can see what the arm should look like, but understanding how to get from 80 stitches down to 30 stitches, you have to subtract 50, but explaining how that all works to make it work going down your arm is a little difficult. And that's one of the reasons why I was redoing this sweater, because I really wanted to figure out a way to better teach how to do a sleeve in this way. Now, the flat sleeves that you seam is a totally different beast. I'm not even going to talk about that right now because it makes my brain hurt when I'm working on them. Carlene says, life, especially caregiving responsibilities, sometimes sap my crochet mojo. I totally understand that. Completely understand that. Yeah. I lost my mom almost 3 years ago. Next month, that'll be 3 years. Even though I was too far away to do the major caregiving, the worry and the responsibility of doing things still is sapped a lot of my crochet mojo. It's just in the last couple of years that I feel like I've gotten some of my mojo back. But this particular project, it should have been done a long time ago. It's just other things have cropped up, teaching events, other patterns that yarn companies have given me yarn for. So it's definitely one of those projects that should not be sitting in a project bag. Thanks, Carlene. I appreciate that. I hope everything's going well with you too. Caring for anyone in your family who needs help is very difficult. So, and I know that my sister and my dad, they really had a struggle being there every day, 24/7. I'm 900 miles away. So I wasn't able to be there for everything. So anyway, okay. So anybody else have something to share about projects that keep sitting in that project bag and they're nagging at you, but you just never pick it up? What's the reason behind it? And I see if there's some other people here. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that if you've got them. I do have, like I mentioned, I do have some projects that sit because they're earmarked for certain events that I do. Like I have a TV project, I have the driving project, and I have the baseball project. But anybody else have any ideas of what they have going on with projects that are sitting in project bags? If not, that's okay. I can sign off. I do want to keep these short for those of you, but every day I'm trying to have a topic that we can talk about that's crochet related. It helps me get into that crochet frame of mind, especially on a day like today where I'm going to be having a big chunk of my day outside of the house because I've got appointments to do before I go on a trip. But I do want to have topics that you all think about that you would like to talk about, or have me talk about on here, and we can chat I can bring you up on the screen, your comments on the screen, and we can chat about it. But let me know if there's a topic you'd like to cover. I do have 60 topics that I'm working with. I'm just kind of randomly choosing a topic, but every Wednesday is Whip Wednesday. And so I will be sharing what I'm working on. There's going to be things that are finished, things that I'm just started, things that are in progress that you can see the, what do you call it? You can see the progress. Sorry, guys. I guess I need more coffee this morning, but you can see the progress as my projects progress as well. There are going to be some projects I can't show you because they are under contract for one reason or another. But most of the time, I'll be able to, if it's for my own business and it's not something that I'm keeping a secret until it launches, I can't. I can't share it, but, I can show you maybe the yarn that I'm starting something with this. So that's going to happen on Whip Wednesdays every Wednesday. Next week's going to be a little different though, because I am going to be out of town myself. So I'm pre-recording videos for all 5 days next week. I won't have Whip Wednesday because I won't be able to show you any progress. But when I come back, you'll see this progress. Carly, I am not organized. I mean, I am. I have a lot of lists, and I have a lot of, I use a planner, and I use some digital tools to help me remember all the things. But there are days that I feel like I am not organized. I am so far beyond things, but I try to keep work organized. As someone who used to work in the corporate culture, there is a part of me that still has all those things that I used to write software, so I had to have checklists and things like that. So checklists are a big thing. I'm very digital oriented, but I'm also very analog and like paper that I can actually look at and check. I love to check. That's why I use a paper planner as well. So anyway, thanks for being here, everybody. If you are new, again, if you're watching after the fact and you really like this video, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like it, make sure you hit the bell so that you can boy, I'm losing my voice today. Hit the bell so that you get the notifications of when I go live, and also when I drop a new video. I am working on dropping some new video in the next couple weeks. When I get back from my trip, for sure, I will be doing some extra video. But anyway, have a great Monday. I will see you tomorrow morning. In the meantime, make sure you like and subscribe, and I will talk to you all later. Bye, y'all.